This is the Ohio AgNet from the Voice You Know with the News You Trust studio, sponsored by BASF. Visit with your local ag retailer about 0% financing on all BASF crop protection, seed treatment, and Zetavo brand soybeans now through March 15th. I'm Ty Higgins. Powered by soy biodiesel, join the Ohio AgNet today at midday. We'll get an update from Ohio Corn and Wheat about the great work being done to represent Ohio's grain farmers at the state and national levels. There's a new Ohio AgNet podcast online at ohioagnet.com. Lindsay Schwinn is an insurance officer with Farm Credit in America. She talks about the importance of crop insurance during times of tight margins.
Input costs continue to rise, so I feel like a lot of people looked at their risk management tool more as like a financial stability tool. So, margins are tight, there's not a lot of room for error due to the rising input costs, and so it was really important that you had coverage where you needed it.
I also talk with Luke Crumley on the Ohio AgNet podcast. He's with Ohio Corn and Wheat. We talk about all the policy wins in 2025, and although there was a lot of talk about the Farm Bill in 2025, one of the biggest wins for farmers happened on the tax front.
Throughout 2025, we had a whole host of issues federally and at the state level that some we knew were coming and some creeped up out of nowhere. So one thing we knew that was coming in 2025 was the federal work we would have to do to defend really important parts of the tax code that our growers rely on as business owners to make sure that they can carry on that work and protect their family assets, right? So we started investing in that work more than 2 years ago to make sure that when the fight around H.R. 1 or the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the budget reconciliation package that included so much of extending the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, when that came to fruition in July, we were all ready. We started hammering Capitol Hill in January of 2025 about those issues, and I'm pleased to report that so many of our congressional delegation were on board from day one, from both parties, understanding just where those tax priorities needed to be to make Ohio's growers successful.
There are audio and video versions of the Ohio AgNet podcast now. Of course, you can hear the audio version wherever you listen to podcasts. The video version is on our Facebook and YouTube channels. Simply search Ohio AgNet. You'll find both versions at ohioagnet.com. Let's get a check of the forecast brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Here's Ryan Martin.
Low pressure starting off the week in northern Michigan and over Canada. This is a system that came into that region late yesterday. Howling winds around the low. This is indicative of another leg down in temperatures. We're going to be bitterly cold here today. Wind chills are a story through at least the first part of the day until winds subside this afternoon. I think we see clouds break up a little bit as well. Strong Arctic high pressure right over the top of us overnight tonight through tomorrow. That's where the coldest air in this air mass resides. I think we see temperatures ease a little bit for Wednesday, Thursday. When I say ease, it means just not as cold. We're not warm by any stretch. And then a reinforcing shot of Arctic air breaks free to finish the week Thursday, Friday. Some snow in there on Thursday. And then, if you can believe this, temperatures for this upcoming weekend and into early next week make what we're dealing with today look absolutely foolish. It's going to be a brutal cold stretch here for the next few days. I'm Ryan Martin.
Ryan, thank you. Here's Joel Penorwood checking in with an update on an issue that could affect farmers directly when it comes to the rails.
Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern Railroads now before the Surface Transportation Board, looking for approval of their proposed merger. Mike Steenhoek is executive director of the Soy Transportation Coalition.
What it essentially amount to is for the first time in U.S. history, you would have a single railroad offering seamless service between the Atlantic coast and the Pacific coast with the potential merger of the Union Pacific and the Norfolk Southern. And there's a lot of strong opinions on both sides, both the proponents and the opponents of it. And that includes within agriculture that you'll have agricultural shippers that I'm acquainted with who actually are attracted to the prospect of a merged railroad because they feel that there will be greater access to markets in one area of the country that they currently have less access to.
Opponents to the merger say it would bring higher transportation costs.
On the other side, though, there's agricultural shippers and a variety of other shippers who are adamantly opposed to it because one thing that we have observed, and history has certainly taught us, is that when you have mergers and consolidations within the rail space, it often does result in increased rates and a decline in service. For agricultural shippers, what we like, if we were to write the script, we'd have as many transportation providers, not only within the rail industry, but also even outside the rail industry, competing for our business. That's good for us.
And Steenhook says it'll likely be about a year to a year and a half minimum process of exploration, due diligence, and inviting feedback from affected parties. Again, Mike Steenhook of the Soy Transportation Coalition talking about a proposed merger between Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern Railroads. I'm Volpe Norwood reporting.
Thank you, Joel. The Ohio AgNet continues after this.
Get ready to bid on the heavy equipment and vehicles you need in a Ritchie Brothers Midwest Regional event happening February 10th through 12th. Inventory is at Ritchie Brothers locations in Columbus, Chicago, Detroit, Minneapolis, Kansas City, and Lincoln, with in-person inspections available. Bid on a wide selection of excavators, loaders, dump trucks, and truck tractors. Don't miss this great opportunity. Visit rbauction.com/Columbus to sign up. rbauction.com/Columbus.
Hey, pork producers! The 2026 Ohio Pork Congress is almost here. It all happens in Lima, Ohio on February 3rd and 4th at the Veterans Memorial Convention Center. You'll get the latest on swine health, facility management, economics, product innovation, and more. And don't forget about the expanded Spanish language breakout sessions. All this with over 60 trade show exhibitors to visit. So go to ohioporkcongress.org today to get more information and early registration discounts. We'll see you in Lima.
Welcome back to the Ohio AgNet. I'm Ty Higgins. If you're in the beef business, there are some important dates coming up for you to put on the calendar. With more, here's Dusty Sonnenberg with today's featured audio.
I'm joined this morning by Garth Ruff. Garth, we want to talk about a lot of beef programming going on with OSU Extension this year, and probably one that I think is the flagship of what you guys do, Beef 509. If you can, maybe just a brief description of what that program is and how folks can get involved.
Yeah, Beef 509 is a really a unique program hosted by the Ohio Beef Council. We bring folks on the campus for 2 days, evaluate some fed cattle, talk about fed cattle selection, finish, how value translates in the marketplace, all the way through to the beef cuts. Participants get a chance to go into the meat lab and fabricate some beef. We'll talk about grid pricing, budgets, everything that goes along with the feedlot side of beef production.
I think for folks that haven't participated in it before, truly the hands-on nature of that class is probably one of the best things. I know it's probably been close to 20 years ago since I participated in it, and I've only heard positive comments ever since that time as well for anybody that attends.
Yeah, I think it's a real high-impact program, gives producers a chance to dive into the next level to understand, not only fed cattle production, but the beef side of the business, all the way down through merchandising the retail cuts.
Sure. Yeah. Regardless of the size of your operation, I think it's definitely a benefit. We also want to talk a little bit about a winter webinar series you guys have going on. A number of different, programs or content areas within that. Why don't you talk a little bit about that for us?
Yeah, we started these winter webinar series back in COVID times and have had good reception. This year, format's a little bit different. We're going to go every other Thursday night, actually starting tonight, with a dairy beef feeder program, more geared towards that 4-H audience, talk about the health and nutrition of those calves. But then go every other Thursday night and jump into topics that are applicable, whether you're a cow-calf producer, stocker producer, or on the feedlot side of things. We got a really good lineup of OSU speakers. Haley Linder's new beef nutrition faculty there in the Department of Animal Science. We're excited to have her and several other folks as we cover things from hay quality challenges. We know the last couple of years have been tough in that realm. Haley's going to talk about mineral for beef cows. We'll talk about bulls and economics as well.
Yeah, a lot of good content there, and easiest just to go to the website, go.osu.edu/beefschool26. All the information can be found there. We've also got some other programs really going on. In addition, these are more in-person type programs, and probably one that a lot of folks would be familiar with, the BQA or Beef Quality Assurance, both certifications and recertifications. Talk a little bit about that program and the importance of it and what folks should know.
Yeah, here in Ohio, we have a pretty robust BQA program. I serve as one of the state coordinators for that, and our county extension folks do a bulk of the training across the state. We got over 30 trainers located across the state of Ohio. Remember, that's a 3-year certification from the time that the producer last did it. And if they're needing a certification here in 2026, the best way to find those trainings is to go to our events calendar at the beef.osu.edu website.
Now, I see you've got coming up a beef cattle feedlot school. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we've actually got 3 of those programs. We're going to be evening programs. in Northwest Ohio and at OSU Newark at the Northwest Ag Research Station there February 16th, and then the same program in Newark the following week, February 23rd. We're going to talk about how good of a feedstuff corn is and how nutrient impacts and fertility in the field impact corn as a feedstuff. Dr. Linder is going to be there as well, talk about some alternative fiber. As cover crops and cereal grains become more viable options in the winter, how can we implement those in feedlot diets? So those are kind of the evening programs. We're going to have a daytime program February 10th at OARDC in Worcester and really hone in on TMR diets, right? Are we feeding a single diet or are we feeding multiple versions of the same diet? So talk about feed mixing, feed ingredients. We'll have some beef outlook at that one as well.
Sounds like some great information, and yeah, obviously the consistency there very important when you look at day-to-day herd health. Well, Garth, if folks are interested in learning more, what's a good website they can go to?
beef.osu.edu. That's the landing page for OSU Extension Beef Team.
Great. Thanks again for all the information and all your work. Again, joining me today, Garth Ruth with OSU Extension. He is our beef specialist. Garth, have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, Dusty.
New and now at OhioAgNet.com. Speaking of the beef industry, Certified Angus Beef has an article wrapping up 2025 and looking into 2026 on our website. You can find out more about how artificial intelligence, robots, and data are quickly changing vertical farming. And the Ohio Soybean Association has unveiled their 2026 policy priorities. All that and more online now at OhioAgNet.com. We'll get a check in the markets coming up after this.
It's time for the Morton Buildings Building Value Days sales event running now through the end of February. Morton buildings are built stronger, last longer, and look better. So if you're planning for a garage, farm shop, stall barn, a storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, or anything in between, act now. Our buildings are built to last, but these savings won't. Visit MortonBuildings.com or contact your local Morton office to take advantage of current savings on new buildings. Certain restrictions may apply. Offer valid only on select new building orders placed between January 5th and February 28th, 2026.
They didn't have skim milk for your coffee, so I just got formaldehyde.
Ugh, isn't that stuff in floor cleaner? Pizza's here. Would you like cheese on that? Or how about a Crowley?
Oh no, that's in bug spray.
Hi there, would you like to sample our new scent? Diethylene glycol.
Isn't that the stuff in antifreeze?
You wouldn't want to eat it, drink it, or even smell it, but that's exactly what's in your vapes. If you vape, quit. If you don't vape, don't start. For help, go to odh.ohio.gov/novapes. A message from the Ohio Department of Health.
Welcome back to the Ohio AgNet. I'm Ty Higgins. This morning's market analysis brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company. Excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky. Call 574-566-2113 for information on soybean marketing to LDC. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets finished the week last week on a slightly positive note. The leader on Friday was wheat, up anywhere from 7 to 10 across both markets. Corn was up about 3 to 4. Beans, after starting weaker on Friday, did get a little higher, but bean oil notably pulled back a little bit. It was kind of interesting. The Board of Trade bounce had almost everything to do with exports. Go back to Thursday, weekly export sales report had good numbers in it there. And then Friday morning, a flash reported sale, 418,000 metric tons of corn to Japan and unknown destination. The expectation is that weekly corn export sales into early February are going to be staying well above the 35 million bushels per week to hit the latest USDA forecast. It's spring and summer when competition may turn us away from U.S. corn. Overall, the rest of the marketplace was chattering still about the WASDE report. I think that chatter goes away this week as we get back to normal trade, I hope. I'm Ryan Martin.
Ryan, thank you. Markets on the Ohio AgNet brought to you by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. Corn for March, 4.5 cents higher after Friday's trade, closing at $4.24 3/4. May, $4.32 a bushel, up 4 1/4, and corn for July, 4 cents higher at $4.38. The reason for Friday's closing markets is because the markets are closed today. Soybeans for March up 4 3/4 at $10.57 3/4. May, $10.68 3/4, up by 4 1/2. Wheat for July, 7 cents to the good, ending out the week Friday at $5.40 1/2. Live cattle for February, $232.15, down by $3.90. April down $4.45 at $233.97. Feeder cattle for March, $8 and a dime lower Friday, $356.45. April, $354.90, down $8.02. Lean hogs for February, up 47 cents at $88.27. April, $95.20, up 20 points. This is the Ohio AgNet.